Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be installing these Soffit Vents on our house. Now these are pretty inexpensive and actually really easy to install. So I'll show you guys how I do that in just a minute. Now if you look at these, they have fins on them, almost like blinds on a window. One direction you can see in and the other you cannot see. So you don't want to be able to look up into your soffits and see everything in there. It doesn't look great. So you'll want to point those towards the house so you can't see up the vents. Now we recently had our roof replaced and we used to have an exhaust fan on the roof to pull the hot air out, and we have vents on the gables on either end of our house. Now when they replaced the roof, we had them install a ridge vent across the top, and in order for that to work you need to have soffit vents on the sides of the house. Now, quick tip is if you're doing this project, grab a can of wasp or hornet killer just in case. You never know when you're going to run into a hive, so it's really good to have on hand. Now back to the soffit vents. Basically how this works, heat rises, so the hottest point in your attic is going to be right at the peak of the roof. So when you install ridge vents up at the top of the attic, it will allow that hot air to escape. In order for that to happen, you need to have soffit vents. This is down farther on the roof. It will suck fresh air in from the sides of the house up into the attic, and that creates a draft from the cooler air coming in down along the side of the house. It sucks it up into the attic, and as the air warms up, it escapes up through the top. Now even as I cut the first opening out, I could quickly see a draft sucking up into the attic. Any spider webs that were around there are being blown inside now, which is a good indication that this is going to start working, and it's going to save us some energy too and cool down our attic. It also can extend the life of your roof, as well as the sheeting and the trusses framing everything up there when there's good ventilation and it's not overly humid and stale air up in your attic. So basically, to install these, you just saw me do this. I traced the outline of the vent that I'm going to be installing, and then what I'm going to do is take a jigsaw and cut 1/2 inch inside of that line. You don't want to cut the exact width of the vent or else you won't have anything to screw to. So I'm going to go in from there 1/2 inch, and it doesn't have to be perfect exactly because it is going to be covered up with a vent. Now one last thing you have to do is just screw the vent up into place onto the soffit. To do this, I'm only going to be using 1/2 inch screws. They don't need to be long at all, and I'm also going to be using stainless screws. You don't want these to rust. They're not going to be getting direct water on them, but if it's exposed metal it will rust. So I'm going to be using stainless steel screws, and then I'm also going to be coming back and touching that up with some paint so that both the vent and those screws match exactly the color of our soffit. Now I'm going to be installing these about every 3 feet. You're going to need to do some research to see how many vents you need and then try to figure out how far apart those are going to be. It's going to change on every job. It really just depends on how big your attic is, the square footage, and then how many square feet of vents it calls for. So for me, after doing some research, I found that about every 3 feet will work for my roof, so I'm going to be doing that. Now as you're cutting this open and installing the vents, you're going to want to also check and make sure that there is no insulation in the soffit. If you see insulation up there, take that out, because that insulation can end up blocking the vent or blocking the air from going up into the attic up above the vent. So you really don't want any insulation. The insulation should only be in the rafters up in the attic and not at all in the soffits. Now in case you're wondering, a project like this, I installed about 20 vents in the house, and it only took me a couple hours, just one afternoon, and I was able to knock this out. So it's a really easy fix, and I'm hoping to see a pretty big increase in efficiency on our house. Now the back of the house is a little more difficult as I had to get out the extension ladder. You just want to be more careful when you're higher up. You just want to take it slow and just not make any mistakes, obviously. So I'm going to fly through this real quick and install the vents on the back of the house. Now I just want to take this time to thank all my supporters on Patreon. You guys are amazing. My goal for the channel is to share videos that are helpful and can help people learn and be able to do things themselves and even save money at the same time. So all your support on the channel helps make videos like this possible. So I just want to thank you for all the support. Now, I really hope this video was helpful. If it was, hit that like button down below. Also, hitting the like button and leaving comments is a great way to help the channel grow and help this video reach more people. So don't forget to smash that like button and leave a comment down below. Now that just about finishes up the video for today. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.